Hello, hello to everyone. About to start off the show real soon. About to start the show right now. Waiting for one more person to come on, and I'm going to start the show. Okay, there we go. My name is Arcadio Santana, and this is Fathers Are Important. This is a podcast show where all fathers and mothers, you don't even have to be a parent as well, men and women, can come on this show and talk about why they feel fathers are important. Also, this show is for also to help raise awareness, like I put underneath the bio of this page. And most importantly, this show is also to help everyone understand that children deserve both parents. Now, tonight I have let me get the name on here. I do apologize. The name, two people that I'm going to be having is Celia L. Robles from Tustin, California. And I'm also going to be having Joel. I forgot his last name, but Joel from California as well. So let's start off right now with Lady Law 411, Celia, and next will be Joel. Right now, Justice for Jace. How you doing? Oh, I couldn't get her on. Okay, let's try one more time. Lady Law left. Okay. I don't know if she's still on to link with her, and it's not letting me go through. I'm going to try one more time. Everyone, please be patient. I'm trying. I'm trying to get link you right now. Can you send me, Celia? Can you please send me a request when you log in to watch the live? It usually leaves you with an option to send me a request to go live. Can you please do that? Letting everyone know Joelle will be next to be on the show. Okay, it's still not working. I'm gonna have to try and move on. I do apologize, Celia. I'm gonna try and get you right back on. Tell her to shut down the app and start back up. Yeah, maybe if you could do that, log off and log back on. Then that'll probably work. And we've been on here once before in the past, and I don't understand why it's happening. But I'm gonna move on right now for the show, and I'm gonna go with Joel right now, and then I'm definitely gonna come right back with you. All right, so let's start. Go off with Joel. Going live right now. How you doing?
Okay, yes, sir. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing? How are you doing?
I'm good.
Tell us your name and tell us where you're from.
Let me turn this volume down a little bit. Joel Hendrix. I'm from, well, I guess I could say I'm from Los Angeles. I've been here for over 2 decades. So,
All right, all right. Before we go any further, um, Lady Law Celia, I do apologize that I have to move on like that, but I'm gonna try and get you back on once again. But if you could like probably try and send me a request and or log off and log back on, that'd be greatly appreciated if it might work again. But Joel, tell us why you feel fathers are important.
well, first of all, I just want to say thanks, Arcadio, for what you're doing. I think it takes a lot of guts and willpower to stand up for fathers' rights like you have. You
Thank you.
know, I'm sure I speak on behalf of a lot of fathers out there that like you've said in the past, don't really have a voice, and people like you really give them a voice. So, just I'm proud to be in your orbit. So thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
And feel free if you want to switch back to Lady Law. I can ride second chair, no sweat. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I'd like to just start out with a few statistics, if you don't mind.
Go, go for it.
I've been watching your show for a while, and
And you have. I've been meaning to reach out to you for a good while because I pay attention to the people who are weekly viewers such as yourself and Justice for Jace and more people that are weekly viewers as well. And I do appreciate you tuning in every week.
Sure, man. There's surprisingly not a lot of resources out there for alienated fathers, it's been probably a year-long battle, nearing a year battle for my parental rights, and I've searched in the last 10 months trying to find a voice, a forum, where is this common collective location for fathers like us to have a voice, and it's platforms like yours that give us that. And I think there needs to be more of them, and we need to have a more collective voice. There doesn't seem to be a lot of support in our current society for fathers. Don't really matter that much, in my experience, and I've talked to hundreds of fathers in the last year who describe the same type of treatment in the family courts, the same type of treatment just in society. We're not second-class citizens, but we're treated that way, So I just wanted to start with some stats.
It's sad. It's sad. I don't mean to cut you off, but just a quick comment. It's sad at how fathers are looked at second-class citizens when it comes to a child being brought in this world.
It is, and it's almost like it's so accepted and just common knowledge that it's almost so glaringly obvious that people miss it. People will just ignore it as if it's not an issue, and it's so clearly is an issue.
And with that being said, because fathers are looked at second-class citizens, that's where the parental alienation kicks in.
Right. Exactly.
And I'm gonna let you take it away from here.
Yeah, and we'll definitely get back to that point. That's the root of the issue. Is the empowering, incentivizing mothers specifically to get full custody, to alienate the father, and it happens to fathers or to mothers as well. I'm not saying that. I won't say fathers are the only ones that get alienated in family court, but overwhelmingly, fathers do get the short end of the stick when it comes to parental rights, and the negative impacts of fatherlessness has on children it's indisputable. So I want to read a couple of these stats, not to mention the sociological consequences. According to a 2017 U.S. Census Bureau data, children who are raised without their father are 4 times greater risk of poverty. 4 times. They're 4 times a greater risk of being poor. More likely to have behavioral problems. They're more likely to face abuse and neglect. They're more likely to abuse drugs and alcohol. They're more likely to go to prison. They're more likely to suffer obesity. They're more likely to commit crime. And they're twice as likely to drop out of high school. I mean, those are stats from the Census Bureau 3 years ago. And this is current data. And it's like, how can this kind of data be out there and we don't hear a unified voice from, and it's not just, I thought, this must just be a Southern California thing. And it's a joke among lawyers that, a father walks into Southern California court and your best case scenario, I've been told, is you might get 20% custody. That's your best case scenario. In general, whenever you have a mother who is going by the playbook that they go by to alienate fathers, and I'm just noticing, in case any viewers are wondering, I've got this puffy right eye. I don't know if you can see that. My boys play this dogpile daddy game, and one of them, I don't know which one, got a finger in there. So I don't know if you can see that, but
I can
anyway,
definitely see it.
it's a little puppy. I was trying to cover it up with my glasses, but it's not working very well. So yeah, I mean, my custody battle, if you want to call it, or the alienation that I've been facing has started almost a year ago, and it's a long, lengthy process. It's a battle that normally starts if the parents don't see eye to eye, they go separate ways, and if one of the parents, most often the mother, decides, hey, I don't want to share custody, I don't, for whatever reason, I want this guy out of my life, or I want to have control over that situation completely control the child and my ex if I can. It's easy for them. They go to court, they make some false allegations, lie,
Quick comment.
lie.
Quick comment from Justice for Jace. Imagine how beautiful the world would be if fathers were the majority custody holders of our children.
Yeah.
Imagine how it would be. There wouldn't be as much, like, possibly what you see right now.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what kind of world it would be if it was the roles were reversed. There's a lot of things you can take that happen every day that we see. The way men are treated, the way fathers are treated. That if you switch the roles, if you reverse the gender in the story, it's like, just try that exercise sometime. It's never something that's gonna float. Most of the times, I was watching this thing the other day. It was like, it was a game show where they had to guess what 100 people surveyed. 100 women were surveyed. What would you do to what would you like to do to your husband while he's asleep? And then it's Family Feud. You may have seen this little video meme that goes around, but they go up to the podium, and the first answer they say is slap him, and everyone's laughing, ah ha ha ha, slap him, and even the host, I forget his name, is laughing, and they're all, it's just comedy. If a woman wants to slap a man in his sleep, that's hilarious to our society. But imagine flipping that role. No one's going to be laughing at that. And that's the same type of inequality that men face in family court. We walk in there and we are second-class citizens. I mean, doesn't even describe it. We're pariah. Men are taught that we're toxic just by being a man, by trying to be a parent. How dare you? How dare you try to be a father to your kids? Like, it's this mentality that women are the only ones who can raise children, and that's, I mean, such a systemic issue in our society that costs the government, I don't know, I'm gonna make up stats here, but I would guess billions, trillions of dollars in the indirect costs from children who grow up without a father. And one thing that I grew up, hearing this term deadbeat dad. I used to think of that term and picture, like, what kind of dad would be a deadbeat dad and just leave his family, leave his kids, and go run off. And that term to me has changed dramatically, the meaning and the way that I see that term.
We should acknowledge that there is deadbeat dads that are out there, but for the ones that are not, and that are going through certain situations with the child's mother, they're the ones that get blamed as a deadbeat dad. You have fathers that genuinely want to be in the child's life, that do everything that they can to pay for them the best way they can, whether it's through child support or anything, and they still get labeled as a deadbeat dad.
Yep, you took the words right out of my mouth. There definitely are deadbeat dads, and there are fathers who, and that's another difference that I like to differentiate.
And some of them might not understand so I'm sorry to cut you off, but some of those deadbeat dads might not understand the importance of why fathers are important.
Exactly, and I think there's a difference, between a dad and a father. Anybody can father a child, but to be a dad, you got to be a dad. Like, your kid calls you daddy, It doesn't say, "Oh, Father, I would like you to help me with my homework." It's Daddy, it's Dad. So a deadbeat dad is like, they don't even deserve the term. Real deadbeat fathers don't even deserve the term dad, in my opinion. Um, but yeah, I can, like I said, I can speak generally to some of the issues that I'm dealing with. I still have open litigation, but it's a battle, and I wanted to come on here and just encourage you and encourage all the fathers that may see this or are watching this now. I think it's so important that there's a forum for us to come and communicate. These are my experiences, and have a platform.
Before we go any further, there's some people that are just now tuning in. Can you let everybody know your name and where you're from once again?
Yeah, this is Joel Hendrix, Los Angeles, California.
And my name is Arcadio Santana, and this is Fathers Are Important, the Instagram live podcast show. Continue.
Yeah. So, I think I broached the topic earlier, just, the process that happens whenever two parents don't get along. One, for whatever reason, they part ways. You have two different scenarios, maybe three. The first one being, they're amicable, they agree to a parenting plan, they divvy up their assets, and they go their separate ways. But a more common one is, for whatever reason, the mother's jaded, wants to destroy this guy, doesn't care about the children at all, and the actions speak to that when they immediately go to court, file for full custody, do everything, set up all the stage that they can with lying, all the false allegations. They can come up with all the flying monkeys they can get to come in and, support her false narrative. And a lot of times it gets down to this he said, she said, and then you have this judge, in my case, it's a female judge, not that they can't be neutral, but it's a man-hating family court to begin with, and then you have a female judge in there. That's who do you think they're going to believe when it comes down to he said, she said?
Absolutely.
And they do it under the veil of the best interests of the children. Well, we got to err on the side of caution. So automatically, when a father walks in there facing false allegations, they automatically lose custody, and they automatically get alienated from their child for months, just to get started. Because once you get into court, that is the slowest moving process. But what's fast? The fast part is to get that father out of there, get those support payments going. So you create this environment where fathers don't have a chance. So when I hear this deadbeat dad and like absent father, and you wonder why there's so many fathers that don't have, or children that don't have fathers, I don't wonder anymore. I mean, it's very clear to me why a lot of these kids don't have fathers, because A, they didn't have the resources, the financial resources to hire a high power attorney and go to bat for them, which most of them will need, even if a woman goes in there without an attorney. B, they just don't have the emotional energy or the time, or they're working two jobs to try to, make ends meet. And then, automatically they're alienated from their kid. And guess what that means? That means they have to pay even more. So you've got these fathers with the odds stacked against them from the get-go.
Just a few questions for you from different people. From Justice for Jace. How many children do you have, Joel?
I have two boys.
Okay. That was one of the questions. Another comment from Sar Ulor. I can say is that I'm guessing you're trying to say all I can say is that after 16 years, it all counts down to the kids will grow up and they'll see for themselves the true meaning of love from their dads.
You know what? I cannot agree with you more on that.
I don't know if you were watching last week's show, but
I think it was
Justice for Jace, also known as John, who was on the show last week, and he was talking about how he was being alienated as a child from his father, and as he grew up. If I'm not mistaken, John, if you're watching right now, if I'm not mistaken, I think you did say 16. But as he got older, at age 16 or 17 and up, he started seeing a difference and understanding a difference. Kids aren't like not going to see like something different like that. They're gonna see a different like, hey, why is mommy always mad at daddy? Hey, why is daddy always being nice? Why is daddy always reaching out and mommy don't let me talk to him? Why is mommy doing this? Mommy doing that? Like it's almost like a never ending story.
And it happens sooner than you think. These kids, I mean, I have an 8-year-old and a 4-year-old, and my 8-year-old he's figured it all out. He already knows the players. He knows what he can say here and what he can't say there. And that's the thing. You know, this is like these are children that aren't going to stay babies. And I think a lot of mothers, they don't realize that. They think, they're frozen in this moment in time and they're so angry and they're so, vindictive for whatever reason that they're going to use their own child as a weapon, which is disgusting to
Mm-hmm.
me. The fact that
Very, very.
family court allows them to weaponize the child, and they claim it's under the best interest of the child as they go through this process. It's abhorrent. But the fact that most women, mothers in that situation that want to, that they ran out of weapons, they don't have anything else they can throw at this guy except for the child. I can take that child and I can manipulate him with this child that you're supposed to love. They don't realize that child's going to grow up, and it's all going to be documented. So one thing that I would say to fathers is like, if you're, and I've gone through some dark days, and it's tough when your kids are just taken away from you, out of the blue, and you don't see them for months, and then when you do, it's through some awkward circumstance that has to be on the terms of the court and the controlling, vindictive, child's mother. They're gonna see all this evidence. They're gonna see someday. They're gonna see the documents. They're gonna, if I'm keeping records. I'm keeping track of every
As you
single.
should, as you should,
One of
because
these
when it
days,
comes when it comes down to it, when that person sit there and say, "Oh, your father never paid for you. It was all me. It was all this one, that one." You or any other father that has documents can easily come out and say, "That's not true. Look at what I have in front of you. You can even see mommy's signature on here when she accepts it and cash it." But knowing her, she'll probably sit back and say, "That's not my signature. That's your father's signature."
right,
It's petty, ridiculous stuff to the point where you sit back and look at it and say, all I want to do is just be a dad. It sucks
right.
that me and you couldn't work out. I wish we could have worked out for the sake of our kids, but all I want to do is be a dad, and all I want to do is just love my kids. And if anybody who's on here agree with me, please send a thumb up emoji.
Yeah, that's it. And it's like it's hard for me to understand what the men. Men and women don't think the same. Obviously, we have. They say men are more logical, women are more emotional. However, they process things. Well, I mean, this is a prime example. Going through this type of alienation and this type of situation where you're just trying to be a father to your children, and then you have to deal with that. But yeah, to the point, these things, I tell fathers that are going through these dark times, that and it's a long process. It's just know that it's going to be a battle. And one thing that people who are victorious in life in general have in common is perseverance. And you may feel like everyone's against you. Your kids are not going to love you because they've been taken from you. They're not going to know you. Just know that that's not true, and you can never give up. You can never, ever, ever quit, because it's going to be a battle. Get yourself ready for that. Your mind ready for a long battle. But keeping track of all the records, all the times you tried to see them, all the court records, all the money that you sent to support them and to take care of them, all the times that you tried to be in their lives, and keep track of everything that their mothers did too. And then, you know what? One of these days, and I think more women than not do not realize that there's fathers that'll keep track of that stuff. And when the child is old enough, not a child anymore, when they're 18, going off to college, here's a box. Take that with you. If you ever question my love for you, read it. Go to that box.
Are you currently dealing with parental alienation?
I am. Yeah.
How long?
It started last year, late last year, September.
Okay.
So
And how are you currently in a battle in court over this?
I am, yeah. I can't talk a lot of details, but what I can say is, um, it started like it often does. The playbook, that attorneys have in Southern California, and what I'm learning across the country and around the world, is this, well, okay, they sit down. I can just, picture this process going down. With the mother, the attorney can just say, look. Was he ever, did he ever do anything to put the child at risk or made you feel, were you ever abused? Were you ever a victim of abuse? Well, no. Do you have any like evidence that he abused you? Well, he didn't abuse me. Can you make up any? No, I don't have any police reports, nothing like that. Well, can you say that you were verbally abused? Oh, yeah, I can definitely come up with that. Do you have any evidence? No, because it really didn't happen. But all they have to do is say it did. And they go to court, and guess who they're going to believe? It's automatic. And then all they have to do is get a few of their friends to come in and chime in. Like the Wicked Witch of the West flying
Mm-hmm.
monkeys. They come
Mm-hmm.
in and they just start reiterating the same lies that she said, and automatically the court will say, "Well, we got to be safe here. You know, we're going to go ahead and give you full custody, and this guy, you're just out of luck." And it takes you months to even get heard, to even get in front of the court. It'll take you, and then aside from a pandemic, which unfortunately for me fell in the middle of it and delayed it even further. So that's all from what I've heard from talking to fathers, talking to lawyers, from being in forums and from my own experiences.
Now you
Um,
said you've been dealing with parental alienation for how long once again?
well, it started September last year. Um,
Now, how are you? I have a question. How are you managing with you not seeing your kids? How are you managing to keep yourself like from not breaking down and just like your mind going crazy because there's some fathers that are out there that from being alienated they might just go crazy from not seeing their kids. How are you managing to stay level headed from all of this?
to be honest, it's not always level headed. It's you go through hard, dark times, a lot of tears. But the thing is, what I would encourage fathers going through this just to think about is, first of all, to add some levity, um, you know, just be thankful that you're not with that person anymore. Just being away from someone who would do that to a child, just being out of that, narcissistic mentality, that in of itself, just reflecting on that should give you comfort automatically. Now, of course, it's indescribable pain to be removed or have your children, taken away from you and not seeing them on a regular basis. There's no describing that pain. Um, Me personally, it's been an opportunity to reflect, myself. I've got lots of hobbies and lots of friends, and honestly, my friends have been fantastic. I can't even tell you. It's been amazing. But I personally have hobbies. Like I'm a gardener, so I like to get in the dirt and plant.
Now here's a tough question. Now you said hanging with your friends and everything. Does some of your friends have kids?
Oh yeah, a
Does
lot
it
of them.
make you feel sad whenever they talk about their kids and or you may see their kids and everything? Does it make you feel sad? And if it does make you feel sad, how do you cope with that from not showing people signs that like you getting sad and missing your kids? How do you cope with that the best way you can?
Well, you know, it's a mixed bag of emotions. Really, when I spend time with my friends and their kids, I'm a lot of my friends' kids call me Uncle Joel, so It's kind of like, almost like
You look like Uncle with that beard.
my pandemic beard. Yeah, my kids love it, which is it's temporary. So don't judge me by the beard. Um, but yeah, it's a mixed bag of emotions. It's you're thankful that you're with your friends aren't going through what you're dealing with. You feel thankful, grateful, and you want to encourage them to just treasure and cherish every moment. But yeah, I mean it can cause you to think about what you're missing out on for sure. And it hurts.
Now, let's say, I'm going through parental alienation myself, but that's another story. But let's say that excuse me, let's say that myself or anybody just started going through parental alienation and they reached out to you for advice. What would the best advice you would be? What would the best advice you can give somebody on learning how to cope with parental alienation until it's all over?
Um, well, I would say if it's something that's if there's no legal issues, if nothing legal, like if I don't know, I guess that's not if you're being alienated, there's most likely, but to fathers who are in a situation where they think that the mother of their child may be inclined to alienate them, file something with the court as soon as possible. Um, as soon as possible, because the sooner you start this battle, the better. You never want to be, as a father, reactive to a filing, because it's normally going to come with false allegations that you then have to defend against before you even get to be heard about your custodial rights. Um, but someone who's facing parental alienation, who's already in the process, is already being alienated. Um, I would just say you just have to know that it's going to be a battle. It's going to take time, but you're going to eventually get to see your kids. You're going to eventually get some custody back. Um, it may take a year, it may take 18 months, it may take several years in a lot of cases. Uh, but no matter how long it takes, you never give up. It's never going to be the right decision to quit, ever, because you can't undo it once you quit. The court, once you give up, that's it. Court doesn't give you a redo. If you at some point decided I'm not going to be a dad anymore, I mean you've put yourself in a different category as far as the court's concerned. You've already given up on your parental rights. So fighting at that point is really difficult. So if you think it's difficult now, it would be astronomically more difficult if you give up. And I would just say find a place to talk about it like this, like we're doing right here. I think this is it.
Parental alienation to me is like, for instance, I'm pretty sure you and everyone else has possibly watched the movie Rocky, right?
Oh yeah.
Rocky Balboa. You seen Rocky 4 with Drago, right?
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite ones. Rocky 4 and Rocky 3.
I like mine a little bit.
Yeah, it looked like you went against Drago. You look like you went against Drago.
Yeah.
To get to my point of what I'm talking about, one thing that was inspiring about Rocky is that Rocky got hit so many times, knocked down so many times. Pretty much almost every fighter we watched him go up against, Rocky got knocked down by Apollo Creed. Rocky got knocked down by Clubber Lang, Drago, Mason Dixon in Rocky 6. The point of what I'm getting at is that every time Rocky got knocked down and people thought that he wouldn't be able to get up, he got right back up. And what was so amazing about him is that not only did he never give up, but he wound up winning. We could look at parental alienation like that. Never give up. There's gonna be plenty, and I mean plenty of time where by dealing with parental alienation, you, me, or anybody, we gonna get knocked down hard. And our face is gonna hit the canvas when dealing with parental alienation. But what our kids will love about us when they get older and see this and respect about us is that Daddy never gave up. they're going to look at us like a champion. They're going to look at you like a champion. And most importantly, they're going to admire us as if we are their Rocky Balboa.
Exactly. That's exactly right. That is the biggest point to be made there is, to fathers who are just trying to find a way to stay afloat and catch a breath. You got to know that every single thing you do right now it's not, you may feel like you're alone and no one knows how hard you're battling. Trust me, your kids are going to know. They're going to know. And you're just putting money in the bank. And I guarantee you that bank you're going to cash out eventually with the love of your children. Guaranteed.
We have some people. We have some people coming on right now. Would you mind starting off once again? You're telling everybody your name and where you're from.
Sure. Joel Hendrix, Los Angeles, California.
And my name is Arcadio Santana, and this is Fathers Are Important, the Instagram live podcast show where I come on here and let fathers, mothers, or even non-parents come on here, talk about why they feel fathers are important. I'm also raising awareness for parental alienation, letting everybody know how evil and how much pain parental alienation is to everyone. And continue.
Yeah, I mean, I could go on and on, and I thought about when I was coming on, things I wanted to talk about. I don't want to come across as someone who's just like, giving the poor me, the life isn't fair kind of thing, because that's the kind of attitude that is not going to help anybody. You got to wake up every day where you're at. You got to realize, you've got kids or a child or multiple children out there that you're fighting for, and that's got to be your focus no matter what. I've read a lot and talked to a lot of people. A lot of times when you initially are faced with being alienated, you're going from a different situation to the one you're in now, which a lot of times means housing. It means routines that you used to have. It means being with the child's mother most likely, and then so to go from all that to just being alone, it's a shock. But one thing that's really I've found is just trying to find, and it sounds cliche, but man, I tell you, there is some beauty in being alone. It sucks at first, and it's painful and scary, and all these things. But the sooner that you can be comfortable by yourself, the more strength you're going to derive from that to fight for your children. It's an opportunity. So I would encourage you to say, look, this is a chance to clear your head, to find your priorities, which is obviously your children. If you're watching this, or if you're in the forums talking about fathers' rights, that's where your head's at. So the first thing you got to do is take care of yourself, physically, emotionally. Eat right, exercise, get some sleep.
Self-love, what you're talking about, giving yourself self-love.
Yeah, you got to look out for number one for a little while, because without taking care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody. And you've got a child or multiple children to take care of. So it's the war. The war begins by building up the temple. You know what I'm saying? So
now there's a comment from Saru Lore. There is one thing I will suggest is that no matter what, stand your ground. Absolutely. Good comment, by the way. Good comment. Absolutely. And me, for instance, I've been single since the breakup of between me and my son's mother. I've officially been single for 1 year now, and there's been times when I've said to myself that, like, man, it really sucks being. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry about that. Man, it really sucks being single, because you kind of miss that moment of having that significant other, going out on that date with them, having a good time, laughing, talking, all of that. But I'd rather be lonely than be brokenhearted by someone else right now. And where I'm at right now, at a point in my life, I'm doing a lot of things for myself, such as fathers are important, working out, taking care of my body and everything. And to be honest with you, when I'm with my son, the little bit of time that I have with my son, when I'm with him, I don't even be thinking about being with anyone else. he makes my heart, he heals my heart just being with him. He makes me happy. And the things that I like to do in life that makes me happy, not just my hobbies, but my number one hobby that beat everything else that I've been doing before I've been doing this hobby right now is being a father. That's my number one hobby that I love, and that's what makes me happy. And where you're coming from right now, and where you're coming from right now is saying like just do the things that make you happy, and
Yeah.
that's one thing that makes me happy.
A wise Hispanic woman said to me, "Mejor solo que mal acompañado," and I'm probably destroying that because my Spanish is not that great. But it basically means, translated, you're better off alone than in bad company. So yeah, to that point, be thankful. Be thankful that you're alone, because if you're battling someone who wants to use a child as a weapon, you're better off alone. I promise you that.
Absolutely. Is there anything else left you would like to say? Oh, one question before I let you go. If you was able to, like, I looked it up a few weeks ago, like actually a month or two ago, the how do I say it? The constitutional right for all fathers. If you, Joel, was able to have the power in your hand of the constitutional right for all fathers, what would it be? Or do you know the constitutional right for fathers?
You know,
As a matter of fact, let me read it to you and everyone right now. Give me 1 second. Forefathers. Okay. Every father has a constitutional right to be an active and an integral part of his children's life. The right is protected by the 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution and is a fundamental right that may be interfered with only in limited circumstances. So therefore,
limited.
you already huh?
The word limited is hilarious.
Exactly. So if you this goes back to what I was saying, if you could change the constitutional right for fathers, what would it be? And as a matter of fact, everybody that just heard me say this, if you all can change the constitutional right for fathers, what would it be? And please comment. Starting with you, Joel, what would it be?
I mean, it's probably been said before, but I would say by default, it should be 50-50. There shouldn't be this, better safe than sorry, automatically give the mother all the custody. There shouldn't be that way. Fathers shouldn't have to be guilty by accusation. They should be able to see their children. They were part of that child's life up to that point, unless there's like a criminal record, some kind of police involvement. But in general, there's not. There's not. They go into family court, they say some lies, default, father's out of the picture. I think by default, there should be a standard custodial plan where both parents have equal access. With children, really, most importantly, it's easy to say that, the mother's rights, the father's rights, it's the children's rights. They're the ones that have a right to both parents. They have a right to their siblings, who are often split up in these mixed families where, it might be a second relationship, and these kids have been together for years, just get alienated from each other as well. This is not about parents trying to get even. It should be by default 50-50 for both because the children deserve that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Joel, I want to thank you so much for taking your time out, being on this show.
Thank you.
And once again, let everybody know your name and where you're from.
Joel Hendrix, Los Angeles, and I'm happy to come back anytime, Arcadio. It's a privilege.
Absolutely. And from Long Island, New York, all the way to California, which for some reason, and I just want to let this be known, for some reason, I get a lot of California people on here, and I'm sure you know this as well. Am I right?
Yeah, I think, I'm inclined to say that's because of the legal system here is so heavily flawed. Anywhere
I
a
can
judge
imagine.
has so much power,
Every post I put up that you and everyone else would like, I always make sure that I put in hashtag parental alienation for the people to find me, for the people to see it, everything. And I noticed that California has been dealing with a lot of parental alienation, a lot,
It's
because I would get people from United Kingdom, people from Cayman Islands. I don't know if you remember seeing him. People from out here in New York as well. But the dominant place of what I've been getting, where California, it, the dominant place of what I've been getting of parental alienation is California.
Yeah, I believe it. It's the hotbed for, California for the states, from what I understand. So
California women are very empowered here in CA. A lot of toxic feminism. That might be true. I'm not trying to go to Cali to find out.
yeah,
If I do, it's just going to be for vacation. But
well, thanks
once
again.
again,
I'll be,
once again,
I'll be, yeah,
what was that?
I'll be around. I'll be supporting you for the long haul. So thanks again.
Thank you, thank you. Once again, from Long Island, New York to California, send my love, and I'm gonna be rooting for you that you kick parental alienation's ass and knock him the hell out.
I'll keep you updated.
Please do, and you have a good one.
You too. See you around.
God bless. So sad what you know innocent fathers deal with when it comes to parental alienation. Not everybody's innocent, but at the same time, for the ones that are innocent out there, why do we have to deal with this? Why do fathers that just want to love their kids have to deal with parental alienation, all because a parent won her way? If there's anybody else that wants to come on the show, please speak now or forever hold your peace. Is there anybody else that would like to say one more thing? I was supposed to have an attorney on here from California named Celia to speak, but I couldn't get in contact with her. But if there's anybody else, please let me know right now. Do a impromptu um interview with me that would like to speak. Please let me know now. Please comment and let me know if you want me to link you in, and I will connect you right now. Is there anybody else that want to talk? But getting back to what I was saying, yes, I know personally how it feels with dealing with parental alienation. I have friends, I have family, I have cousins that deal with parental alienation. I think we have one person right now that wants to be a part of it. Dynamic Dad, let's tag you on right now. How you doing?
Yo, what's going on, man? It's Dynamic Dads, man. How you feeling today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Tell
That's what's
everybody your
up,
name
man.
and tell everyone your name and where you're from.
Hey, this is Dynamic Dads, positive attitude, full of energy, new ideas here out here in Arizona, Mesa, Arizona, Phoenix, rather. And
All right.
hey, man, like you said, I like what you're talking about, and that's something that you gotta understand about what's called the gatekeepers. And we have another team called Magnificent of Miles, and we talk about the gatekeepers, how the women are dictating just what they want in their lives, good or bad, and having these kids hating their fathers, or the system is designed for the women, and that's been designed since we can go back for a long time. So the men, we got to define what is a man's right as a father. You got to first understand that. And that's a lot of these young men walking around here having these babies. You got to understand what your rights are, what your custody rights are as you get into this situation, because the system is not for you. There's not a lot of
Yeah.
programs out here. If you go out here, you look for programs, look for a program where you try to find, as a single father, try to find a program for you, housing or anything else. You won't get it. But a woman, they put her into Salvation Army, they give her housing, they give her money, everything she needs, food stamps, the whole nine. The man, they're telling me, yo, you strong enough to go out there and get you a job. How's that? I got a family to take care of too. You know what I'm saying? So
Let me
we got
ask
to
you,
understand.
how is the parental alienation out nearby you? It like I was just saying that I noticed personally myself, parental alienation is deep in California. How is it out in where you're at?
Well, unfortunately, I can't really talk on that part. I'm still new to Arizona, and so my program is totally different. It's helping fathers to be co-parenting and helping them understand how to co-parenting and giving them that understanding. But I mean, like I said, across the board, man, it don't matter what state you go to. there's a lot of laws that are set for the women. And a lot of men don't recognize that. We don't understand that because we don't get involved in that mindset. There's not a lot of funding for men, period, nationwide. And so men really need to understand that when they get into relationships and then have a bad breakup and think, okay, everything's going to go your way. As you said, you can look across the board and you got these men tied up in legal battles and they losing. When they go to courts and they plead their case, the judge looks at them and says, you know, hey, unfortunately, we're going to give custody to the mother. We're going to give her more money. We're going to do everything to support her, not you.
It's sad. It's sad. It's sad. Like you would even see some fathers that just want joint legal custody losing over something like that. Why is it that a father has to lose joint legal custody, lose a battle just to get joint legal custody? Like, that's something I don't understand, because the court system is made up as if two parents don't get along with each other, if they're going down each other's throat by arguing this, that, or whatever, then the judge can't grant the father joint legal custody. What the judge does instead is give the father visiting time.
Right.
Sometimes the visiting time might not be to the point where it is like good for the father, but I feel like personally they're not looking at it as what's benefiting the child, because a child needs both parents. That child does not need to see the father for like 1, 2, 3, or 4 hours. That child needs just as much time as he's having with the mother, or split. I don't understand how in this world they do something like that.
Listen, man, you got to understand when we talk about systematic racism in this world, man. HUD was designed so that the family members could not be together. You understand the legal system. When you understand, that's why, you know, it was good. It would have been good if you had somebody when they're legal. They could have broken it down to you term by term. Because understand, the family structures have been broken down since the civil rights. And unfortunately, minorities of color, they've been the ones that been suffered the most with all this. When we talk about the different, how the system was built. It was built to tear families apart. Since slavery time, tear families apart. And we have always been on the short end of that. Now, those who were considered privileged in the so-called, you know, privileged world, they still go through this, but they have money to fight the legal system. You don't have money to fight the legal system. So that's why you always get short end of the stick. If you got money, then the father can talk about who has custody. He will get the custody because he has money, he's able to provide for them. But they look at the system and say, okay, you don't have the money as a mother. He don't have the money. So we got programs set up for the mother to help her get money and get herself back on her feet. You understand that? So if I give the mother housing, I give her food stamps, I give her everything she needs to put back on her feet. But there's certain conditions underneath that. You can't be with that man. Sometimes that's best for the woman not to be with that man. But it does not talk about it doesn't have anything in there talking about the standards of the father and the kids, the development of the father and the kids. Fathers are essential. They're important. But the legal system doesn't talk about that.
Yeah.
You understand?
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely
right. So that's
right.
why brothers like yourself and myself and many others are advocating for fathers to get those things in order, to go around and change the laws. We got to change the laws. We can talk all day long like we're talking right now. But until we change the laws and the policies of each state, because each state has different laws, you got to go to each state, it has to be governed differently. So each state, that's why you're finding people in California calling you more, because they hit harder than other states. You got people in Texas, other states, or Atlanta, they're all different states that are hit harder than each. So that's why you got a lot of people from California calling you more, because they're the ones hitting that pressure. They're getting pressure more.
Wow. Wow.
But like I said, bro, it's an ongoing cycle, and it's not going to end. It's not going to end because without money, you can't fight the courts. And that's where a lot of men lose. When they go in these courts, they don't have no money. So they don't get a lawyer.
Money is the root of all evil.
Exactly, my bro. So we got to understand that. You got to put your priorities in order. If your kids have never one to you, and then your priority, that's where you put all your money at. Don't still go out there and try to hang out in the streets. Yeah, like you said earlier, if you need to be by yourself to get yourself together, then do that. Get your credit right. Get everything you need right for you so that you can be good for your kids. Don't worry about no other females. They're gonna be there. If you good
Absolutely.
looking at, if you got money in your pocket, you're gonna always have a female. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, please comment with the fire emoji if you agree with this man, because he's putting the fire in my eyes and in everyone else's eyes right now. But
Hey man, it's all about that. It's all about having a good connection with your kids. I was telling another brother today, man, he took his kids to the aquarium, and I had to let him know time is more important than money. Time is more important than money to your kids. They will remember the time that you spent with them and the quality moments that you spent at the park, at a zoo, or just walking down the street getting an ice cream cone with them and going back to the house. The time is more important than you sending $1,000 to that house. Understand that. If you're paying the rent at the house, the kids don't care about you paying the rent. All they know is why you ain't showing up at my doorstep to take me outside and play. Why you ain't spending time with me, Daddy? I don't care if you paying the rent, keeping the lights on. You can tell me all that. You paying child support. That's good. That's what the legal system telling you to do. But what about me? Tell us never give up on your kids. Never give up. I don't care what the lady tells you. I don't care if she tell you we good without you. I don't care all the evil thoughts you say. I don't care if you turn your kids on you. And your kids say, Daddy, you ain't no good. They're only repeating what their mom has said. That in your heart, that's your seed. That's your child. Never give up. Don't let the system nor the mother take you away. I don't care if it's raining outside. Go get wet and go see your kids.
you got people loving what you're saying right now, man. Not just me, but you got people clapping and everything.
Hey man, you know what I'm about. Positive attitude, full of energy, new ideas. That's dynamic dad, bro. You already know.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the few people that are on here right now, I ask you kindly to please take the time out and follow Dynamic Dad. He's doing the same exact thing that I'm doing.
Yeah,
He's
we teaming up. We're a
exactly
team.
though I'm in New York and you're where once again?
Arizona, bro.
Arizona, which I did hear that the coronavirus is pretty bad out there. Is it still is?
Oh, definitely, definitely. Numbers gonna keep on going.
Yeah,
Everybody, they think it's a hoax. They think it's that is a hoax out there. It's not real. They just doing what they want to do.
yeah,
That's
but
another story within itself, bro.
make a long story short, we're both fighting for the same thing. We're trying to raise awareness for parental alienation. And Dynamic Dad, fathers are important, fathers' lives matter. Alan Donovan, we all are on here doing the same thing. We're trying to let everybody know that fathers are important, fathers' lives matter, fathers are dynamic dads. There are dynamic dads that are out there, such as myself, such as Mr. Dynamic Dad as well. But at the end of the day, we shouldn't be looked at as secondary citizens. We should have just as as importance as the mothers do, because it takes two, not one who is the mother. It takes two human beings to create another human being, and that's all I
Correct,
gotta
bro.
say. That's all I
Correct,
gotta
bro.
say. And I only have 2 minutes left to be up on here, so um,
Hey,
I'm at,
hey,
I'm
man. Thanks for having me on, man. Go do your thing. Keep doing your thing, man. You're reaching a lot of people out there. You helping people change minds and change hearts, and you want to keep on making this movement go. Anytime you need me, brother, let's team up and do what we got to do, man. Y'all have a great day.
absolutely, man. The movement continues, and I look forward continuing with you with the movement as well, from Arizona to New York, from New York to Arizona.
Hey, no hold up, brother. We're going international with this. Always speak internationally, man.
Absolutely,
International. No limits, my man.
absolutely,
No boundaries.
absolutely. You have a good one, and you take
You
care.
too, my man.
All right
Later.
now. Parental alienation sucks. I'm just gonna say it like that. It really sucks. What can we do? What can you, what can me, what can any of us do? We can't just keep sitting here talking about it. We can't just sit in here allowing it to happen. We have to do something about it. We out here rallying for the right cause, which I'm not gonna talk about that too much, because I agree with that as well. But we need to rally for this as well. Fathers are important. Fathers are not second class citizens. If you think that, you're crazy. Because at the end of the day, like I said it before and I'll say it again, it takes two, not one. It takes two human beings to create another human being. My name is Arcadio Santana, and this is Fathers Are Important. the Instagram Live podcast. And I'm letting you all